Welcome back, everybody. This is Stranger Things Has Happened, and we are here at Chapter 6.
The Monster.
The Monster.
And oh boy, what a monster.
Oh my goodness. Yeah,
I don't even know how to
this is a
start.
crazy episode.
I don't even know how to start. I'm overwhelmed.
Stranger Things has happened.
Okay, I'm going to
Wow.
just try and give a few important moments that happen in
Let's
this
go.
episode. Nancy gets yanked back out of the tree.
She sure does.
So she's back out. She went into the gooey land through the tree, but she's back out. She and Jonathan go back to her house. They are seen by Steve. And later, Steve and Jonathan get in a fight.
Big old fist fight.
That's important. So that's kind of what's going on with them. Hopper and Joyce go to visit a woman named Terry Ives.
Yeah.
We're going to hear more about that. And the kids are, they're not with 11 for a while. They get back with 11. The last thing that happens is 11 has a flashback of being in this tank at the lab. She screams, this crack opens in the wall, and then she comes back to the present and she says, I'm sorry about the gate. I opened it. I'm the monster. And that's the end of the episode. Okay.
It's so visual. Like, as you're laying that out, I can see and hear and feel the feelings that I had during the episode.
Yes.
Yeah, it was insane.
Oh my gosh. You know what I was thinking while I was watching this, actually, this time, for whatever reason, is I was like, wow, like, do you imagine the fact that Netflix used to be like, you would get a DVD in the mail?
Or you would go to like a Safeway and there was
like a vending machine.
yes, and it was a Netflix vending machine and you would just like purchase this DVD.
That is so wild to think about.
so
Did you ever
crazy.
do that, or was that like before your time? Because it was before my time, really. Like, it sort of.
No, I think it was actually, it was like in between my time because I was in like the Blockbuster, like we would go to Blockbuster. There was like a
Yes.
place called like Hollywood Videos where we would go to also get movies, but like not TV shows.
Yes, I definitely remember going to video stores to rent videos when I was a kid.
VHS.
On VHS, definitely they had DVDs. I got a lot of DVDs from the library. And then I remember renting movies on iTunes, and that was a thing that I did for a while. Like, I did a lot of renting stuff, and then I also bought a few. Like, I bought the movie Pitch Perfect on iTunes because it was really important to me.
How many ringtones did you have?
Well, I didn't really have a phone.
Right.
Until I was like, I think I got my first cell phone when I was 18 or 19.
Me too.
So I wasn't, the ringtone thing kind of missed me. It was
Okay.
like buying ringtones. By the time I had a phone, you could kind of just like do whatever you wanted for your ringtone.
Back in
Is that
my
true?
day.
I don't even remember.
Back in my day when I bought my, well, I didn't buy it, but when I was given my cell phone at like 17, 18, ringtones were like really important.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I was buying them and I was like, look how cool I
And
am.
probably buying them for like 99 cents a pop.
Yeah, and you also had to buy minutes for your phone.
Yeah.
I don't even know how we got here. All right, Netflix used to have a
right.
vending machine.
Netflix. Okay, look how far we've come. Anyways, sorry if that was a
Tangent.
navel-gazing walk down memory lane. A little peek into the inner lives of two 30-somethings who are just
Yes.
coping with life and like coping with the way the world is. And yeah, anyways, back in our day,
Yes.
TV used to come in the mail sometimes.
Yeah, movies specifically. Like, you couldn't really buy TV shows until they were like finished their season.
Yeah, you could buy the like box set.
Yes.
And that was it.
And that was it. So I can't even imagine how Stranger Things would have happened.
Yeah.
20.
Anyway, it's just crazy to think about Netflix now being like not just streaming, but like this huge producer and
Yeah.
making these really interesting things. So
Yes.
yeah, there you go.
Speaking of making really interesting
It's
things.
crazy things like Stranger Things.
Stranger Things. Yeah. Okay. So I had a thought while you were talking about 11 being in her tank.
Yes.
She always talks about the upside down, and her version of the upside down is like all black, which is like the flip side of this board.
Okay.
But is that different than where like Nancy got dragged into? Or is that also the upside down? Hard to say.
Interesting question.
Because they don't look the same.
No, they don't look the same.
And they don't even act the same.
I think for the purposes of our discussion, you should assume that the gooey place is the upside down
Okay.
and that the all black place is maybe something else.
Okay.
Or at very least is 11's version of it.
Right.
That other people don't have access to.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have so much more to say about that, but we'll get there when we get there.
Okay.
So we start off with, like Emma was saying, Jonathan is like looking for Nancy in the real world in this like woods forest area.
Yes.
And he's calling out for her, and she's calling out for him in like the gooey upside down area place.
Yeah.
And then starts to hide from like the flowery faced, muscle man.
Yeah.
And then I forget.
And interestingly, okay, this is a thing that I actually have had questions about when we've talked about the upside down before, like when Barb was there, because you were saying like Barb can hear the sex happening. And I was like, can she? I mean, for one, how loud are they being? Because they're like in the house. Yeah. And then for another, like, I was like, can she really? That wasn't clear to me. Mm-hmm. But in this scene, it's very clear that Nancy can hear Jonathan in the real world.
Yes.
And Jonathan can hear Nancy.
Well, and I think part of that is because the portal was open.
Yeah. I think, yes. Something about that tree portal being actually open still is different from when like Joyce and Will are talking.
Yes.
Where he seems to be able to hear her just fine.
Yep.
But the only way she can hear him is through the lights or through or whatever.
Yeah. And so they're like yelling for each other. And then flowery, muscly person like hears her yelling and screaming. So it kind of like goes on the hunt for her. Mm-hmm. She hides. He clocks the opening of the portal. Yeah. And I was like, you fucking idiot. Do not go in there. But also,
no, Jonathan,
as we sort of learned in this episode, there's feelings. Wow, do they ever get into them?
Wow.
And so I was like, he's going to go in. He does not.
No.
But
you have the moment where you're like, he's going to try and rescue her.
Yes.
Obviously. He can't help himself.
No, Romeo is here to do his job.
He figures out that there's some opening in this tree, and he's like, somehow knows that that's where Nancy went. Or at least he thinks that that's where she is.
Because again, I think he can hear it, and so like the sound is semi getting louder as he gets closer to this like door.
And there's
trunk.
like a little bit of like the light pulsing goo redness in the tree that they can kind of both see, it seems like. Yeah because like while she's like hiding from this demigorgon thing, like looks over and can kind of see where she came in from. So then her hand like jolts out of this place. He's grabbing her, like trying to pull her out. It's like implied that whatever's on the other side is trying to keep her in. Yeah, or like the goo is getting her stuck. Yeah, either it's like got her by the feet, or it's just like it's hard to get through this gooey thing.
She got in fine.
Yeah, that's true.
She crawled in like nobody's business.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's why I was sort of like something's holding her back, and maybe it's just like the universe on that side is what's keeping her in.
Totally. Yep.
Who knows? It doesn't say, so we're just like, whatever.
No, but like it takes some effort to pull her out.
Yes, and then they land on top of each other. And then
they have a gooey hug.
And then as that's happening, you see that the portal closes. Yeah. Which again, really interesting because that's the first time we see that occur.
Yeah, the end of the last episode, the final like shot is it kind of like getting a little bit smaller.
Yes.
Like you think it's going to close behind Nancy after she's just gone in, but it obviously doesn't. Like it doesn't get that far.
Yes.
But yeah, that's true. We haven't seen that exact thing happen before.
Yeah. And so then he's like, I'll take you home or whatever.
Yeah.
They go home, and I will say this whole scene is like semi-cute because I feel like they both have a level of shyness / awkwardness that they share. And so he being Jonathan, like finds a knitted blanket and a pillow.
It's like a sleeping bag in the 80s. Well, it's like not like a swishy fabric. It's like a nice little quilted one or something.
And he's like laying it down on the ground. He's like, I found this in your closet. Is that okay? And she's like, yeah, totally. But this is like post her being in the shower and having flashbacks.
Yeah. Oh, she's
of the world
having
that
some
she's
trauma for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I even jumped because so much happened in between that.
Yeah, we did. We jumped forward, but we'll come back to that scene. Anyway, so after they're having their gooey hug, the next thing that I wrote down is that Steve is
Catches
driving to
them.
Nancy's house with his friends.
Yeah.
And he like gets out of his car and climbs up to her window very deftly.
Honestly, flawlessly.
He's done that before,
I
for
was
sure.
like hot.
He did that in one of the other episodes. He like shows up in her room in the window, doesn't he? Anyways.
Yeah.
And he doesn't actually go in the window, but he sees Nancy and Jonathan like sitting together on the bed.
Yeah, arm around.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he looks devastated.
Poor boy. He's so sad about that. Very
and
sad.
I get it, honestly.
Yeah.
Like he's putting a lot into this.
Yes.
And now
And then we talked about this in the last episode. Like they kind of had this nice like moment where she's still a little standoffish, but it seems as though he apologized, and it does seem as though she like accepted his apology. Like they had a little, they made up essentially, we think.
Yeah.
So yeah, now for him to be like, wait just a second, what's going on here? It's a sad moment.
It's really
and it's
sad.
sad for us as the audience too, because we know that like
that's not what it is.
it's not
currently.
it's not what you think.
kind
of. But we all cringe a little and go like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Like he's going to be so mad and it's going to cause a whole thing. Yeah.
And he doesn't even interrupt. He just sees that it happens.
That's right.
And just
He
lets it
leaves.
happen.
Yeah.
Which again, I'm like, you're better than me. The police would have been called.
Well, and they are later.
Well, they sure are.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. Okay. So then the next thing we see is Hopper and Joyce.
Yes.
And they're sort of talking through. He's sort of saying like, oh, like this and this and this and this has brought me to this. And then it like sort of clocks to Joy that he's not talking about Will.
Yeah.
Like they said like, oh, well, they saw a boy with shaved head, so I thought it might be Will.
Yeah.
It's not Will.
Yeah, he's like, there was a kid with a shaved head. There was, like, I went in and there was this kid's bedroom. And she's sort of like, tell me again. Like,
How do you know
explain it
it's a
again. Like,
bedroom?
how'd you know it was a bedroom? What made you think it was a kid? And he's like, well, there was a drawing. And she was like, what do you mean a drawing? Because Will is like a little artist. He draws these pictures, right? We had that scene
Yes.
earlier of him drawing with the fireballs and the crayons.
Yes.
And he's like, I don't know. It was stick figures. And she pulls out one of Will's drawings and is like, well, that's
not
not
Will. Mm-hmm.
him. Like, my kid draws.
Yeah.
He's an artist.
See these cabbage balls? That's my kid.
You're talking stick figures. So they sort of pull the strings of Hopper's experience in the lab a little bit.
Yes.
And realize he sort of went in there thinking he was going to find Will, and he found evidence of some other kid. And then they sort of put together or start asking, well, what if there is another kid? And Hopper says in these articles he read, these news articles, there was this woman named Terry Ives, who was
being tested on.
Yeah, she was being tested on, and she accused the government or whoever of taking her baby, her daughter, Jane.
Yes, Jane. I fucking yelled out loud. I'm like, her name's Jane? What do you mean? I'm already struggling with the fact that we're calling her Elle.
And you're like, Jane?
Jane?
I do.
It is the 80s.
Yeah, but like, it is a
Yikes.
tough pill to swallow.
Yes.
You're like, oh God, that can't be
Yeah.
right.
It's crazy because in the last episode we were talking about Elle's parents and Eleven's parents, and I'm like, where are they?
Yeah,
why aren't
who are they?
looking
Why
for
don't?
her?
Yes, exactly.
And then we find out at least why her mom, Terry, is not looking for her.
Yeah.
And it is like quite heartbreaking. But I think in
Totally.
this scene specifically, we find out that they were like drugging her.
Yeah.
And
They
that she was pregnant during that.
I think it comes up later again. They go back to it later, but yeah, they talk about the fact that Terry. Oh, it's way later.
Oh.
Anyways, she was being drugged. They were testing stuff on her, like not psychotics. What's the word I'm looking for? Psychedelics. They were testing psychedelics on her, and that, that did weird things to her pregnancy, which she didn't know she was pregnant.
Correct.
So we'll get back to that.
We'll come back to that because there's a lot there.
We're hearing that name, Terry Ives, again. It came up in a previous episode, but kind of floated over us.
Yes.
But it's back.
It is back.
In this episode in a big way. And also the name Jane.
Fucking Jane.
Disappointingly, I guess we don't know at this point who Jane is, but like, Dan's giving like, don't give me that. Okay.
I don't believe in that shit.
That's fine. I'm not trying to convince you. Does this make you, or do you ever like resent and hate me because I know things?
No.
Okay. Well,
No,
that's
because
good.
again, I think you do such a great job of letting me stay where I am.
Sure.
Even though I really want to know.
We'll get there.
So no resentment,
We'll
only
get there.
love.
Some of these things you'll understand in 6 to 8 months.
Yes.
That'll be a great time.
There were things in this episode where I was like, oh, I was right about that, or like, oh, I was really onto something when I mentioned that like, a couple episodes ago. So we'll get there.
Okay. We should make a little counter. How many times will we say we'll get to that? We'll get there.
Yeah. So then we go back to Nancy
Yes.
in the bedroom. She's had her shower. She's obviously just like stressed out.
Yeah.
And they're both laying down in their respective beds that they've made. Obviously, hers is an actual bed. His is on the floor.
And he has his gun with him.
Oh, yeah.
Jonathan.
He is cuddling that gun on his chest. And then Nancy says, can you just come up here? And I went, uh-oh. Because, again, we've already seen Steve catch them. And I'm like, are you stupid?
Yeah.
But again, like, I think she's just like, I'm so traumatized that I can't be up here alone. I'm too scared.
Yeah.
And he's just like, yeah, sure. And I was just so worried because I'm like, you're in a compromised position.
Yeah.
If your mom comes in, you're done. If your boyfriend climbs the wall again, you are done.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he's like, they can't get us in here.
Yeah.
Speaking about like whatever she saw in the tree. And then she says, you don't know that. And I was like, well, that's actually a valid point.
That's really true. So far, 2 other kids have gone missing because of whatever this thing is.
Yeah, not in a tree.
No.
So, and then I just wrote down like Jonathan is a gentleman. Like I know that he like sleeps on top of the blankets.
Lights on, no touchy.
Yes, clothes fully on, socks probably.
Shoes maybe.
Disgusting.
We don't know. Yeah, I'm like, did he have a shower? Like she was covered in goo and like washed off, but he's still got his like jacket and jeans on.
Just can't be comfy.
Dude. I guess he can't leave the room.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Which we kind of like figured that out in the morning.
Does Nancy have an ensuite shower? We don't know. We're not sure, but it seems like no.
No. And
Okay.
so they fall asleep. Then
Yeah.
we switch over to the kids, and I had semi forgotten that 11 ran away.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
when it sort of like came back that they were like, we need to find 11, I was like, oh shit, yeah.
Like, where'd she go?
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
she really just went, see ya.
Yeah.
And so I semi forgot that, and Mike is pissed about
Yeah.
her leaving.
Yes.
You like see this scene of him downstairs in his like little D&D room.
Yeah.
And like looking at the fort they made for 11, and then he like destroys it. And
Yeah.
So he's mad. It was like giving like a like music video where the boyfriend's like trashing the place. And then I feel like that's all we really
Yeah, it's a
get
very
in that
quick little
scene.
scene, but it reminds us that 11 isn't there with
Correct.
the kids.
Yeah.
And they're all still trying to find Will, still trying to figure out what to do. They still have this knowledge that there's like a gate, there's magnet compass. What are we gonna do? We have to go
Yeah.
look for Will. But 11 isn't there.
Not there.
Not there to help.
So then it switches back to Nancy and Jonathan in the morning.
Okay, but first,
There's something
very
else?
quickly,
Yeah.
is Hopper goes to a payphone. He's like out on the edge of
Yes.
town at a payphone, and he calls in a favor with somebody to find Terry Ives.
Yes.
And that's basically all that happens in that scene is I think Joyce is in the car.
Yes.
And he gets back in the car and she's like, "Did you find her?" And then they drive off to wherever they're
Yes.
going to go.
Yeah, and it's so funny because there's a lot of little scenes in this episode like that where they just go, okay, this is where they are. We need to go back to the main story that's happening.
Back at the ranch, this is happening, except there's like 5 ranches that we have to switch back and forth between.
Back at the ranch. I love that saying. Yes, then we do go back to Nancy, and she's putting together that Will and Barb could be in the Upside Down.
Yes.
Again, she's like, I think that's where like Will and Barb are.
Yeah.
And I was like, what made her think that?
Yeah.
But then I remembered that she saw the thing that she saw in the tree by the pool when she went back.
The monster creature. Like the
Yeah.
reason that they went out into the woods at all was to look for something that she saw at Steve's house.
Yes.
And it was also the thing that they saw in Jonathan's photo. Again,
That needs to I need to talk to whoever came up
There's
with
just
that.
a bit of a stretch on the photo, as we've discussed at length.
Yes.
But that's the reason that they went out there at all.
Correct.
So they really did find what they were looking for, which
Yes.
was this monster creature, and they found where the monster creature like lives or is from.
But now it's going to be harder for them to find it because the door closed.
Yeah.
So unless they remember the tree, which is funny because in one of our other episodes, I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
what are they going to recognize the tree? But maybe
Maybe
they
you took
have
a picture
to.
of the tree. What
Yeah.
if? What if, Dan?
So then, this is where I
Yes.
felt vindicated
Yep.
because
Yep.
they bring up the bleeding.
Yes, they do.
And I asked Emma, and she did such a good job of gaslighting me. Not even gaslighting. She just left me to my own thoughts
Yeah.
because I was like, wait, was Will bleeding in the first episode? I don't really remember that, but Barb was bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
And then the bleeding because the deer was bleeding.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I was onto something.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, this thing, the monster thing, is like smells blood or is out looking for blood at whenever it's out hunting at night.
yes. And so they're like, we're going to go test it because they want to see if that's what's keeping the monster thing out and if they can sort of like bring it to them essentially.
Yeah, they kind of plan to like lure this monster
Lure.
to them. There's another little moment in this scene that I wrote down where they're chatting, they're in Nancy's room, they're talking, they're sitting on the bed, and then her mom like rattle on the doorknob. And two things happen that I think are really funny. One is that Jonathan says like, your mom doesn't knock.
Yeah.
Which is just
A lot of flirting in that scene.
and they also have their moment where she rattles the door and they get scared.
And they're holding hands.
Ah!
That's what I wrote down. Holding hands.
Yeah.
Chapter 6, holding hands.
You guys, what's going on in
What
there?
is going on? I need. Yeah. So then.
What are you thinking? What? Not like what are you thinking like you're dumb, but just what are you thinking about? What's going on in your little brains?
I know.
Other than looking for a monster.
Period. And then we go into. There's an AV lady.
Yes.
Now, I have a question about that AV
Yeah.
lady because she's talking to.
She shows up at Mr. Clark's house.
Right,
The
the AV
teacher, the
teacher.
like tech AV teacher.
Yeah.
And she's like, we're looking for kids to participate in this program to connect kids with technology and
You fucker.
radios.
I hate it.
Uh-huh.
Question: is she the
Yes.
same person from the person who shot Burger Dude?
Yeah.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Her fucking face bothered me as soon as I saw it. I'm like, you're a fraud.
I know that lady. I know that stinker.
Yeah. As soon as like that scene started, I was like, bad blood. We're in
Yes.
bad waters.
I'm like 99% sure. It's the same lady. It's the same woman who shows up at Benny's at the restaurant when
Yes.
he calls CPS.
Yeah, to come get 11. So
Yeah.
they're actively trying to find 11.
Yes.
And we have a couple instances in this episode where the spies
Yeah.
are keeping track of everybody
Yes.
who is close to 11.
Yeah.
And that made me anxious because, like, for one of the scenes, like, Lucas, like, waves at one of them because he's just like, oh, like, random
Yeah.
dude, like, in the neighborhood. And, like, Hawkins, Indiana can't have that many people.
And they're in those vans.
Yes, the Hawkins
They're driving around
Energy.
in those Department of Energy or electrical, whatever,
Yeah.
vans. Yeah.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of that going on, and nobody knows. It's just like,
It is stressful. It's stressful every time you're looking at a scene and then kids are talking, something's happening, and then you like
In the
pan and the
background.
van is in the background and you're like, oh no.
I know. And then I think we ended up like doing a flashback with 11, and I don't remember. I think we see her, or maybe this is the next thing that I cared about.
I think there's a little thing in between, but talk about the flashback.
Yeah, so essentially we see 11 in like a forest area, but she has
Yes.
a flashback
Yes.
where she's in her bedroom
At the lab.
at the lab, yeah, specifically. And Dr. Brenner comes in and he's like, today we make history. Today we make contact. And I was like, question mark, question mark, question mark. And I was like, with the monster? And then sure enough, Homegirl goes back into that like water tank.
Yeah.
She goes back into, and I don't know if this is the same scene, but it's like the same moment.
Yeah.
She's like in the black room and it like zooms out like 1,000 feet and she's alone,
Yeah.
essentially. But then when we come back, she sees the Demigorgon thing
Yeah.
in there alone. And she like walks right up to it. It's like really close and it's feeding on something.
Yeah.
Oh, she's like looking at the lake That's where the
Yes.
flashback happens,
Yes.
I think.
She like looks, she's in the woods and she like looks into her reflection in this lake. Yeah.
Yeah, and she ends up screaming,
Yeah.
which causes like this huge ripple in the water. And I was like, oh, her like screams have power, which we get back to in the scene. So we'll
Yeah,
obviously
that
we'll get back to
flashback
that.
has like another kind of part to it later.
Yes. So that was really interesting because that's the first time that we see that 11 has seen these demigorgon creatures.
Yes.
And
yes.
so I'm like, okay, so she does know.
Yeah.
And these are connected. And Dr. Brent at one point says, it wants you. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Tell me. I need to know. But obviously it doesn't.
Yeah, we don't know. And I think there's a great moment in that little flashback where she's in the woods and she's wearing the wig, or she's like holding the wig as she's like tromping through the woods. And then she puts it on to like look at her reflection.
Yes.
And she has like this great moment where she's like looking at her hair and like looking at herself in the lake with the wig on, and then just like pulls it off.
Yeah.
And
that's not me.
No, it is a cool moment of just like, yeah, exactly. She's like, I don't recognize myself. Like this is me. This is who I
isn't
really
Jane.
am. Yeah.
Also, can I just say, when she does put the wig back on and looks into the reflection,
Yeah.
I was like, that's not the same wig. Like,
Oh, really?
well, I was just like, the lace front that it had earlier was like so like laid down, and this one is just like block hair. And then her
Okay, well,
head.
she has been like in the woods overnight. Like maybe it.
Fake wig.
Okay.
Continuity
Listen,
gone.
I have no need to convince you that it was the same wig, but
Yeah.
that is funny.
Yeah, so then there's also like a scene that sort of jumps in between these two where Lucas is like out to find Will
There's a scene right before that where Mike and Dustin are
on their bikes.
they're in the basement first. Like Dustin comes over and he's like, Mike is like, I shouldn't have yelled. And Dustin's like, yeah, you were both being stupid. I was the only reasonable one. That line really got me. That's
love
really
him.
funny. And then he talks about how it's like, it's the rule of law. Like you punched Lucas or whatever you did.
Yeah.
You hit him first. So you have to shake hands. Like you have to be the
Yes.
one to like make it right.
Yes.
And Mike is like, no, I'm not going to do that. And Dustin's like, yeah, you are, idiot.
I do love him so much.
So funny. He's so cute. So yeah, then there's like, yes, the scene with Lucas. He's in the woods by himself. He's like biking around by himself, right?
Yeah. I didn't write specifically. All I had is that like Lucas is out to find Will. Oh, this is the scene where he waves at the people. Like he's getting on his bike, but we don't know where he's going quite yet.
Yes. In this little chunk after 11's flashback where she screams, Karen, the mom, like picks the lock.
Yes,
Of
to
Nancy's
Nancy's
room.
room. Because she's downstairs and her husband's like, I thought Nancy was coming down for breakfast. She's like, well, she was. Well, she's not here. Well, you better go check on her. So then she goes up and just like break and enters.
Yeah. And she finds they're not there. Nancy and
No.
Jonathan are not there, but they left the sleeping bag on the floor.
Yes.
I was confused by that. I was like,
know.
you two,
They know better.
what are you like?
Any
Are
teenager
you
who's
left the door locked and went out the window, but you didn't bother to
Clean
like
up?
put away the extra blanket?
No.
Very strange. Anyways, then the boys go to Lucas's house
Yes.
and they meet up with Lucas
They
there,
do.
and they have this whole like they kind of fight about how they're like, oh, Dustin is like, remember in this campaign when we went to fight those ogres or whatever, and the party split up and everything absolutely went to shit.
Yes.
Like basically just like, we can't split up the party, guys. Like we have to be a team here.
Yes.
And Al's one of us now. That's Mike's thing. He's like,
Yes.
we're a team and Al's one of us. And they're like,
Lucas
no
is like,
way.
no, she is
No,
not.
she's not. She almost killed me.
She's the problem.
Yeah, and then this is another really funny little exchange in that part where Lucas is saying, you know, she's the monster. Like, she tried to kill me. She threw me. I could have been killed, whatever. And Dustin's like, well, it was a little awesome.
Yeah, I know.
She threw you through the air with her mind.
I know.
Which, yeah, admittedly, like,
Both things are true.
doesn't feel good to be on the receiving end of that. But, like, you have to
Also
admit, like,
so
that's
cool.
really cool. You guys are really into this wizard and D&D shit. Like, surely this is a good thing.
I know, like, you would think if you had someone who could, like, move shit with their mind, you'd be like, we are now best friends.
Yeah.
I need you to do it all the
I'm
time.
getting on your good side.
Yeah, 100%. And at this point, they don't even know where 11 is still.
Yeah.
But then we end up seeing her. She goes into a grocery store.
Oh my gosh.
Again, looking like the children of the corn.
What is that? You've said that twice and I don't know what that is.
You need to do some research.
Okay.
No, it's essentially like these. I don't know what movie it is, and I'm sure I'm gonna get like roasted. But yeah, it's like these kids who are in a cornfield and their eyes glow, and they all just have like.
Ooh.
Yeah, look it up.
Okay, I'm gonna just. Oh, it's a film.
Yeah.
Called Children of the Corn.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Okay, great. Oh yeah, she does look like that. Okay.
Yeah.
1984 horror/drama. Okay, thank you for opening my eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's based on Stephen King book. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
And so she's really given that, and she's walking around, and somebody who's working there is like, "Hey, like, where's
your mom?"
parents?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Babe, we don't know either." But she goes right for the waffles.
Such an iconic scene. Yeah, she goes to the Eggos.
And I wrote down pocket waffle.
Yeah.
And she like grabs like 6 boxes, and he's like,
stocking up.
"Hey, you're gonna have to like pay for that." And she just like walks right by him, so unbothered, but like in her powers, it's just like ensuring that he can't catch her.
Yes.
So like pushing people in front of him, like closing the door so hard that they like smash, and she just like walks away with absolutely no care in the world.
Yeah, when he first comes up to her and is like, can I help you? Do you need anything? Do you remember what she she turns
Mouth
back to him and
breather.
she's like, mouth breather.
So good.
Everything about this scene is so iconic. And okay, and mixed in with her being at the store is this flashback. This is sort of like another chunk of the flashback where she's, I think the flashback happens because as she walks in, she's like being watched. Like people are looking at her.
Yep.
And that takes her back to being in the lab, walking through the lab, like getting ready to go in the tank.
Yes, it was like one of her first times because he's like, "Don't worry about all them, like they're just doing their job."
Yeah. And this is when Dr. Brenner says, "Find it and don't turn away this time." I know.
A literal child just like
Dude.
having to fight whatever that is.
Yes. Dude, you go find it.
Period.
Okay? You put on your fucking yellow hazmat suit and go and get eaten and ripped to shreds in the goo world, okay?
Yeah.
You want to find out so bad what's going on down there?
Yeah.
Okay, so right after she takes the Eggos and gets out of
Goes.
there with the door slashed behind her, Joyce and Hopper show up to this old house
Yes.
and they knock on the door, they go up and they're like, "Hey, can we talk to Terry?" And this other woman is like, "Oh, you want to," I think she right away is like, "You want to talk to my sister?"
Yeah. She knew.
She knew. But she says, "You're about 5 years too late."
Yeah.
So that's little short snippet. We go back to the boys. They split up again.
Yes.
Lucas takes off. He's like, "No way, Jose.
I'm not doing this with 11.
I'm not into this. I don't want to be on a team with 11.
Yep.
Dustin says he's jealous.
Is this where they're on their bikes?
Yeah.
Is that such a cute scene where Dustin sort of like acknowledges that Mike and Lucas are best friends? And
Yeah.
he's like, "Hey, I know that I came here in 4th grade, and
I
so
know.
like you guys have years on me. It's okay, you can admit it." Like, and he's like genuinely means like,
Yes.
"This is important that you admit it because you're pushing your best friend away.
Yes.
And I don't want you to do that." And then Mike's like kind of saying no, but also like it kind of acknowledging it, and he's
Yeah.
like, "But also you're my best friend. Like 11's my best friend too.
Yeah.
Like all of you are my best friend." And Dustin's just like, "No, you need to really fight for your actual best friend."
Yeah.
And that is Lucas.
Yes, totally. You can't let this new person who you met yesterday like come between you and this person who's really important to you.
Yeah, Dustin really has like such an important role in this episode
Yeah.
for the kids.
Totally.
Like in every scene, actually.
Yeah.
Like now that I think about it, I'm like, no, he's the person making this all
Totally. Yeah.
move
Yeah.
forward.
He kind of reminds me of oh man, I'm going to butcher this explanation. But in Shakespeare and in other like classic theater, the role of like the clown
Yes.
is like they're comic relief, they're really funny, but they turn out to have like unexpected wisdom. And I feel like that's kind of who Dustin is in this group of friends. Like he's always kind of like the goofy one, but then occasionally you'll be like, "Oh, he's whip smart." Like he knows, not just smart, but really like wise. Like he has both his wisdom and his intelligence scores are both very high.
There we
to
go.
go back to the D&D.
Yes.
Because yeah, he's so smart and he's always kind of a step ahead of what is going on with like the world and the mystery stuff.
Yes.
But then he's also sees right through everybody and is
Yeah.
like, hey, this is what's happening. Your friend's jealous. You need to make it right with him. You need to be the first to apologize. Like, whatever, that sort of thing.
Yeah, what's it called when you have to say something super obvious? Like, he's that character, but what's the
Oh,
word?
like exposition.
Yes.
Yes.
He does all the exposition, but that's what the clown does in Shakespeare.
Totally, yeah.
Dustin is that character currently.
Yeah.
Where he's just like giving us this stuff in kind of like a silly, cute way, and we're just
Totally.
like, go off, King.
Yeah. 100%. And then he tells this story about like you both are acting with like goblins with intelligence scores of 0 or something. So anyway, he's always got a great D&D metaphor like on the, off the cuff, ready to go as well.
Yes.
And then they ride their bikes past the store and they see like
Chaos.
chaos and police and people like blah, blah, and they kind of look at each other and are like 11 and
Yeah.
they're like, aha.
Yeah, so then they
It's
bike
gotta
over there.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we end up going back to...
We go back to Terry's
Terry.
house and they're talking to her sister
Yep.
who I don't remember
remember
if
her
she has a
name.
name. I don't know if we
know.
learned her name. Anyways, they're talking to her and she's basically explaining like what happened to Terry because they walk into the room and Terry is like sitting in a chair. She's kind of mumbling to herself. She's got like this blank look.
Yep.
And they sort of start talking to her and asking her questions, but she's just
No response.
unresponsive. Like she doesn't
Traumatized.
super traumatized, doesn't even seem to be registering that there's like other people in the room.
Yep.
And then the sister is explaining like when she was in college, she entered this test, like a drug trial or something.
Because they were paying people to do it.
Yeah, she needed money and whatever. She was a wild college student or whatever, and so they were testing like psychedelics and I think they talk about sensory deprivation. And they're like,
yes, where
they
you're
go
just
in the
laying in
tank
the water.
and okay, yes.
Yes.
So anyways, that kind of ties back to
What 11's
what's
going
going on
through,
with
but,
11
like, in
where
an
she's
intense way.
Yeah. So she's getting tested on, but she didn't know she was pregnant at the time.
Yes.
And then Joyce and Hopper are like, so what happened? Like, what
kid.
happened to her kid? Because she accused the government of taking her and
Her sister is just like, she had a miscarriage.
yeah,
Like, it's too bad. All the nurses, all the doctors said that they had a
they
miscarriage.
confirmed it.
And I was like, they are all fake. They're all
Yeah.
fake. They also mentioned that Jane's, and obviously 11,
Yeah,
has no record of being born,
correct.
which is a problem,
Yep.
obviously.
But they also say Terry, like, claimed that Jane was born
Yes.
with abilities.
Yes.
And they like have this back and forth where Joyce and Hopper and the sister, God, I wish this woman had a name, are talking about like her abilities. And they sort of get wide-eyed and go like, well, what kind of abilities?
Yes.
Because they know that the lab is testing, doing something with kids. So I
Yes.
think it feels like they're starting to put the pieces together a little
Yes,
bit of that.
finally.
Yeah, exactly. And she sort of is like, you guys look scared. Like, this is all fake, right?
Right. Yeah, she doesn't believe it at all.
She's like, this is a story. Like, my sister's crazy. She lost her mind. They drove her crazy. And she doesn't, there's no baby. Like, there's no kid. There's no abilities. And they're like, yeah, for sure. But what if there was, though? Like, what do you know about that?
I'm having a moment,
Okay.
which didn't strike me until now.
Tell me about it, Dan.
Is the lady who's at that house with Jane actually her sister, or is she another spy person? Because I'm sort of like, this would be a brilliant way for the state,
Yeah.
Dr. Brenner, to sort of like keep an eye on this Terry woman. Mm-hmm. That way, if anybody comes to talk to her, this lady does all the like, listen, she's crazy, don't look at her, don't talk to her.
Yeah.
That's, write it down, everybody. That's what I'm guessing.
Okay, great. I love that.
And it just came to me now. It didn't clock to me in the moment because I'm like,
Sure.
of course she has somebody taking care of her.
Well, and I think in the moment, like, we, the audience, are just so busy, like,
Taking it in.
taking in the information.
Yes, like, oh my God, this is 11's mom or Jane's mom or
we're
whatever.
learning stuff. We're not maybe thinking as hard about where we're learning it.
Yes. But it just feels bad. It feels like...
Yeah.
Because I'm like, if that was actually her sister, it's weird to me that she wouldn't say, my sister was tested on, that was weird. Now her baby, like, miscarriage, like, why didn't they know she was pregnant? All this stuff. She's saying that it was born. She's just like, no, like, forget all of that. She's lying. Like,
she does seem very like resigned to the whole thing.
Yes.
And I mean, she's had presumably like if Jane is 11,
she's 12.
She's 12. They did say 12 years ago. So she's had a lot of time to process this.
Yes.
And it, you know, like,
and she did say 5 years too late. So there's a good chance that they've been talking about this for years and she's just exhausted.
Yeah.
I don't buy it.
Okay.
I still think that she's a spy.
Great. Well, this is on the record.
It's on the record.
We're going to come back to this, I'm sure, at some point.
Yeah, we will.
Dan had thoughts. He has thoughts about this woman that we don't know the name of.
Yes. So
Why does she have no name? That's very suspicious.
And we can't even call her like Jane Doe because we have another Jane.
Whoa, good point. Interesting.
Yeah, so.
Okay.
That's stupid.
So, and then there's a tiny little scene of Lucas arriving at the fence of the lab because he's been following his little compass. He gets back to the lab. And he's outside of the fence, kind of looking in with his
For sure. Binoculars.
Thank you. Well, I really
in a tree.
My brain couldn't decide whether I was saying binoculars or binos, I think.
Sure.
Trying to be cool, and it failed, obviously. So he's in a tree. He's looking in with his binos.
Yes.
And he sees the vans.
Yes. He also sees like an army vehicle drive in.
Yes. There's like a tank that... or something.
It's not a tank, but it's definitely like a camo,
Tank's the
like
wrong word.
SUV,
like a Jeep sort of looking
thing. Yeah,
yeah.
And I was like, interesting. And again, they don't show us things unless we should be paying attention. So I'm like,
yeah,
why is the army there?
Sure.
Like, why is there higher rank police people there? We need to know that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But they don't mention it at all.
Yes. Okay. This is another quite funny scene. Wait, did you have more to say about that?
No.
Okay. Jonathan and Nancy go like to the army surplus store.
They go shopping.
They go weapon shopping. To me, maybe this exists in Canada, but again, this feels like a product of America and of its time.
Yes.
Where I'm like, whoa, I ain't never seen a place like this before.
I also wrote down like this scene is just so funny because you know, like they're obviously like trying to pick up things to help them catch this monster, and they even say like, oh, we're monster hunting to the person who's like selling them this stuff.
But it's a good, like, this is a store where you can buy a bear trap, you can buy guns, you can buy nails, you can buy like a gas can.
Yep.
They're loading up on all sorts of stuff. Yep.
He just buy some bullets.
Yes.
But
then they have this funny little exchange where they are loading the stuff into the car, and I can't remember exactly what Jonathan says, but basically he's like, 2 weeks ago you were like dating the jock or whatever, and now you're like shopping for guns with Jonathan Byers or whatever they say.
Yep. And then he says,
which part's weirder, me or the bear trap?
Yes.
And she's like, oh, definitely you.
And they're just flirting, and I'm like, you sneaky sneakies.
They're flirting up a storm.
Yeah.
Okay, this is another funny thing that I just want to bring up, and I'm curious if you have clocked it, and now that I'm saying it, you're going to clock it. Whenever Jonathan runs, he does this very like weird, like sort of like sideways run.
No.
Okay, you'll notice it now.
Okay.
He's got this like awkward, like sideways, like I don't even know how to describe it, but it looks like he's running sideways, except he's moving forwards. And apparently the actor was like, he just seemed like kind of awkward, so I thought he would have like an awkward gait.
And they do.
And I was like, yeah, not wrong, buddy.
Accurate.
Anyway, so you'll notice that now. But they get to this movie theater.
They sure do.
There's someone spray painted like Nancy the Slut on the movie theater marquee or something. And they go down this alleyway, and Steve and his buddies are down there.
Spray painting Jonathan is a perv on the wall.
Yeah. Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
And so then Nancy like confronts them.
Yeah.
And, you know, obviously Steve is just like super hurt by what has gone on.
Yeah.
So he like...
He's pissed. Yeah.
And understandably.
And sad.
He's really sad.
He's
like,
sad.
you can see it. Like, he's just like, I trusted you and I liked you and you just like treated me like that. And she's like, it's not what it looks like. He's like, well, then what was it?
Yeah.
But she can't answer that because she's a slut. Okay.
She can't say, like, we're just hunting for monsters. Like, everything she's going to say to explain herself is just going to sound like bullshit.
Weird. Yeah. So then Jonathan shows up because obviously they were together and he's just like, we should just go. But then Steve is an instigator and he starts being like, well, you're a weirdo and this, and you're like your dead brother pushing him constantly, which then pushes Jonathan over the edge.
And Nancy slaps Steve first.
Correct.
I don't
Yeah.
remember what he says that makes that happen.
Yeah, I don't know.
Something about, like, you know, you and, like, basically he's just, like, calling Nancy a slut. Like,
Yeah,
he's just
implying
like,
that-
you're sleeping around with this other dude. Like, fuck you, Nancy.
Yep.
I think he says, go to hell, actually.
She does. She does. He does. Yeah, he's like, go to hell, Nancy. She slaps.
Oh, and one of their douchey friends says, like, were you having another, like, pervy photo session?
Yeah.
Like, guys,
Just
come on.
stop. I know.
It's not like that. I mean, well, sort of.
Sort of.
Sort of, but it wasn't this time.
Yeah. So then we get into this, like, huge fight. Jonathan and Steve are fist fighting, a lot of face punching, which, if you know me, I hate face punching.
Oh, no.
And so I was just, like, looking through my hands because, like, you have to watch.
Yeah. And Steve also says to Jonathan, I took you for a queer.
I know.
We're back on that.
I know. So then they're fighting.
The
and-
cops show up.
Yeah. But what I think is really interesting is that Jonathan really starts to win this fight.
Yes.
And
he
that's when the
is
police
like
show up.
kind of goes off the edge a little bit.
Yeah.
Like he is sitting over Steve, like just wailing on him.
Over and over and over on the
And
face.
Nancy is like, stop. Like
Yes.
you're going to hurt him. Like you can't
Yes.
do this. You know what came to mind is that song from Heathers.
Damn, you can punch real good.
Which there's a song in the musical Heathers where
Fight for me.
they fight. These two guys start fighting
Yes.
kind of over her, right? They're fighting over her. Or about something to do with her. And it's like the whole world pauses and she
Yes.
has this song where she's just like, damn, it's like so hot
to
and
see
romantic
dudes
that these
fighting.
two dudes are like punching each other for me or
Yes.
whatever.
Yes.
Anyway, Nancy doesn't feel like that.
No.
But it did remind me of that song.
It's kind of similar though because like in the musical, Veronica is being bullied by this jock,
Yes.
and then JD sticks up for her and fights
Right.
this dude.
Yes, he's like standing up for her.
Which is exactly what is
yes,
happening here.
That's why it like
Really
I'm sure that why it
connected.
came to mind.
Yes. The last part of that scene is that Jonathan is getting arrested.
Yeah.
And everyone else except for Nancy runs.
yeah.
And I was like, well, Jonathan's going to jail. But also I'm like, Hopper's probably going to intersect here at some point.
Hopefully.
Maybe.
If he ever comes back to town. So far he's like out who knows where.
Yes. Well, and then
We go back to them.
we do
Joyce and
find
Hopper.
Hopper. And they are sort of talking about like the dead kid of it all.
Yeah.
And one of the lines that he says that's like so sad, he's like, you know what I would have done to have a chance.
Yes, because Joyce is kind of like getting discouraged.
Yeah.
Like she's like, we're not gonna find him. Like I don't know what to do. And Hopper is basically like, this Terry woman has been missing her kid for 12 years, and
Yes.
we might find her.
Yeah.
Like she's around.
And that's
we
not
think.
going to happen for me.
That's not going to happen for me, but it
Yes.
could still happen for you. Like
Yes.
there is still a chance.
Yeah, which is just really sad.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, wah wah.
And then Hop gets a phone call about Jonathan.
Yes.
He's like, can you come back to the station?
the Byers boys.
It's Jonathan
Yeah.
Byers. Have you seen Joyce?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
they're like, well, we're kind of sitting beside each other talking right now.
And he kind of turns to her and she's like, huh? What?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's a little scene at the police. Oh, this is a funny scene too, where Nancy goes to the police station and she's like talking to the receptionist or whatever.
Yes.
And is like, are they going to let him out? Like, are they going to keep whatever? And the lady is like, no, like you and your boyfriend, like
We're
have
not-
plans, whatever. And Nancy, of course, is like, he's not my boyfriend.
boyfriend.
And the receptionist is like, well, you should tell him that.
Yeah, she's like, that's what people do when they're in love.
Like,
And then she goes and just like sits beside him with this like ice pack that the lady gave her. And what are pronouns really?
Yeah.
They gave Nancy, and then they're just kind of like being awkward together, which when she's with Steve, I don't think that her awkwardness comes across the same as Jonathan's, but when they're together, it feels very complimentary. Like they feel both very like shy anime flirting
yes, there's like a very sweet, like shy,
quality.
like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a blushing, something violet, like a little shrinking violet next to each other.
Yeah, kind of.
Not to make it too gay sounding. I don't know.
So gay.
Anyways,
And then we switch into the boys are in the forest.
oh my gosh, yes.
And like always, Troy and his little munchkin friend,
Who is the other one? Nobody knows.
no one cares.
But Troy and the other guy.
But we see Troy show up with a switchblade.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're just gonna kill these kids? Like,
It's West Side Story up in here all of a
truly,
sudden.
in this forest. I'm like, what are you talking about? Because Mike and Dustin are looking for 11, and then these like Troy and his boy come up with a switchblade. They drop their bikes and they just start running,
Yeah.
which then brings us to where they found Will's body at this
Like the
quarry.
edge of this quarry.
Yes.
With this huge cliff down
Yes.
to the water.
Yes, and Troy sort of like puts the switchblade up. Well, they kind of like trap them there, but he like puts the switchblade up to Dustin's neck, and he's like, "You made me piss myself,
Yeah.
so now you need to get wet," and which is like a weird thing to say, and he's kind of implying like jump into the water from this high place, or like your friend's getting
I'm gonna
surgery.
cut his teeth out.
Yeah, he's losing
He
his
doesn't have
baby
any
teeth. It's true. And Dustin's like, don't do it. Like, I don't need my teeth anyway. Like, it's fine. But then Mike does jump.
Yeah.
He
He
just like
steps off the edge.
Yeah. And initially I was like, how is he going to survive that? There's no
Yeah.
way. But of course, 11 is always just around the corner.
Yep.
And she's
there for him.
yeah.
Just
See?
keeping an eye on that boy.
And last time I was like, they're in love. She loves him. So anyway, so she stops him in midair.
Yeah.
And because they all like rush to the edge to like see if he like hit the wall or if he's in the water.
happened?
He's just now floating in the air. She brings him back up above the kids, drops him
Yeah.
on the floor, and they're all like shocked.
Of course.
And then they look to their right, and 11's again standing there, Children of the Corn style, just like Terminator, walking towards these kids.
And you're just like, holy fuck, what's about to happen?
Yeah, but then it like sort of goes to this thing where she like breaks Troy's arm.
Yeah.
Like,
It's freaking scary.
yeah. And
You're
she like
oh,
takes
she's
care of
mad.
these
This
kids.
is not good. Yeah.
And Dustin's like all for it.
She doesn't kill them though.
No,
Which
She
I
should
think
have.
that would be a bridge too far.
I say throw him over the edge.
Okay.
These kids are homophobic. And he was about to try to like
Yeah.
stab teeth out. It's crazy.
Okay. Oh man.
So then so that all happens. So
Yeah,
now
there's-
11 is now back to Mike and
Yeah.
Dustin.
There's a really funny video of Millie Bobby Brown like this year
Nice.
watching and reacting to that scene.
I can just see it.
Yeah, I'll find it and show it to you, but it's really she's like making fun of how serious she is when she like says like go, like walks up to,
Yes.
and yeah, anyway, it's just
But it's
really
so
cute.
good.
It's so good.
I'm like, that's exactly what she needed.
But she's like, anyway, I'll just show you the video, but it's like she's watching the video and she like does the little head twitch
Yes.
that like
Breaks
breaks
the
the
arm.
arm and is like, go.
Yes.
It's really funny. I'll show it to you. And then Dustin is like, yeah, you better run. She's our friend and she's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I wrote down. Yeah, you better run. She's crazy. You son of a bitch. I was like, he is just
So
loving.
good. He's loving
it.
This moment. So good.
Um,
Is Lucas back with them at this point?
No.
Okay.
Lucas is
Oh,
still,
he's still in the
using the
woods.
compass
Yeah.
to try to like
Try
find,
to get in there.
Try to get
Yeah,
in.
Yeah.
But then I think this is where we actually see the flashback where she sees the Demigorgon.
Yes,
I
because
wrote-
she's like exhausted.
Yes.
From
She just, like,
pulling Mike
passes
out of the thing and knocking these kids out. And then,
breaking arms.
Yeah, so she like passes out, and then we go into this flashback where she's like in the dark place.
Yes.
And she finds the monster.
Yes. And are we still calling it a Demigorgon? Like, or are those separate things? Because again, the tree thing looked different. Or maybe they're the same. I don't know.
I don't know for sure
Fair.
if. I mean, you can
It hasn't
call
been
it the
confirmed.
Demigorgon.
I'm
Yeah,
calling it that for now.
That's fine.
But
Or the monster.
this is
or
again where
whatever.
we know that she is like aware of them.
Yes.
That we actually get to see her see them.
Yes.
And when she does, like, it turns around on her, she screams, flashes back to her now being in the water screaming.
Yeah.
And it, like,
In
again.
the tank at the lab.
Yeah. And like at the water, when she screams, ripples happen, but it like breaks open the wall. So then when she comes back to,
Kind of comes to, wakes up, and is back with the kids.
yeah, she's like really sad, and Mike's like, hey, are you okay, blah blah blah, and she's like, I'm so sorry. He's like, what are you sorry about? You don't have to be sorry, you saved my life, like, this is a good thing. And she says, the gate, I opened it, I'm the monster. And I was like, oh, her scream broke open that world. And so now that's why Dr. Brenner is like, we now have an inn here. I just didn't realize that was the same room.
Yeah.
Or is it the same room?
Is what, the same room?
The room where like the tank was.
Yeah.
And now where they have like that opening that they go into.
Oh, yeah, it's the same room.
Okay, because like you don't see the tank in the other scenes where they're looking at the thing. Like Hopper doesn't see the tank either.
I think there is a scene where Hopper is in looking at the wall and the tank is there.
Okay.
Anyways, that's fine.
No.
No. That's
So
okay.
anyway, when she says that, it's
I don't
so
think you
sad.
necessarily would clock that it's the tank at the time. Because
Right.
it's just like a room full of
Stuff.
weird stuff. And the weirdest of them is not the tank.
No, totally. And so, yeah, when she, sort of like says like, I'm the reason this is all happening, essentially, it is so sad.
Yeah.
And he's just like, you're fine. Like,
Yeah.
again, you saved my life.
Yeah.
I owe you everything.
And they have a little big group hug.
Which kind of made me laugh because Mike and 11 are hugging and Dustin's kind of just like watching. So then he joins in on the hug. And when they're zooming out, like it lasts for like a little too long in my opinion. And like Dustin's like kind of tapping one arm and like it's just like they're there for a while.
Yeah.
But it is really cute. It's just like these kids being like, wow, we all almost died in some sort of way and 11 saved us. Mm-hmm. And I'm sad because Lucas doesn't see that.
Yeah.
And again, it has to be like, well, no, she saved her life and I know you weren't there to see it. It's kind of like Will and his talking. Like
literally
he doesn't want to do the thing unless,
Yeah.
So then they start to go home.
Yeah. They like get on the bikes or whatever.
Yes.
They start like riding back through town.
Yep. And then they come through this fenced area near their house. And then it starts to pan to the right. And I'm like, here we go. And sure enough, there's an energy worker there tracking them.
Yeah. The van is watching.
Yeah. And he's like, they're home, or like, I can see them or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, God damn it. But the crazy part is now Dr. Brenner's out on the field. Like
Yeah.
him and a bunch of these people are like, we're all going there.
Yes.
And like cars and cars and cars are now driving to their house
Yeah.
to get 11.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so they're now really like, we've got her.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, what about Mike's parents? Like, there has to be some sort of confrontation that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because they're not just going to like let them take their kids away.
Yeah.
You're like, or will they? Oh, God.
No, I'm not gonna spoil anything.
No.
But the next thing to happen
Yes.
is like one of the most iconic scenes that's gonna go down
Wow.
in this
Which is crazy
season.
because this. Okay, when episode 6 started, I was like, this is we're 2 episodes away from the finale.
Yeah.
Big things are gonna happen.
Oh yeah.
But they keep ending on these like huge cliffhanger moments. And I wrote down like Lucas needs to warn them because he sees.
Yeah, he knows that that all these cars are coming out of the lab. He's
Yes.
there watching the cars go out. I don't know that he knows
Why?
but I think he's got to imagine that it's like something to do with everything that's going on. You know what I mean?
But one of two things might happen.
Yeah.
So either he's like, hey, like walkie-talkie, hey, like these people are, on their way.
Yeah.
But it doesn't quite make sense in my brain. But what does make sense, he just watched all of these people leave the building. And so he's like free reign to go in and see what's happening. And so I'm like, is he going to see the other side, like the upside down? Is he going to see the room? Is he going to see all
God.
these things? Like,
Yeah.
that's where I'm like, he's alone there.
Yeah.
Because like I said, Dr. Brenner is now not in the building, which is, again, they don't just show that for no reason. So again, my guess is that Lucas is going to go in the building because no one in quotes is there.
Okay.
And potentially come across the portal.
Yeah.
And because he's a D&D person and he was at the conversation about the Veil of Shadows,
Yep.
I'm sort of like, is he going to start to piece things together? Ooh. I need to see it.
Dan is like vibrating.
We need to. Okay. I just feel like Wednesday's a long time.
I'm
Crazy-
sorry for torturing you.
No,
with
crazy
this.
episode.
Yeah.
Crazy episode, and I am unwell. I just feel like there's so many things that my brain are like, this has to happen now.
Yeah.
And so you've heard the things that I want on record.
Yep.
And next week, we're going to find out if I'm right or
Oh my
wrong.
gosh. Yeah,
And again, I just know there's going to be things that happen that I could not even begin to think,
totally. Yeah.
which like excites me.
Yes.
Okay,
Whoa.
how is it for you rewatching those big moments?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I love rewatching it knowing that I'm going to talk to you about it because I also I know we talked about this, but I think like there are a lot of moments that happen that I am obviously like making connections to other things that are going to happen later, but knowing that you're learning that information for the first time, like getting like I think the whole thing where with Terry
Yes.
is just like whoa, so
Jaw on the floor.
so mind-blowing when you are really uncovering it for the first time.
Yes.
Because I mean, you had asked the question last week, like, where are this girl's parents?
Yes.
But it's not really something you're thinking about for most of the season. Like,
No.
even when she's walking in the woods, you're not, like, really thinking about that. It's just like, where did she come from? Come from the lab? I think you asked at one point, like, was she birthed out of the
Yes.
portal? Like, did she
Yes.
come from the other dimension?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's so much mystery about her, but it's actually very humanizing to realize, like, oh, no, she was born. She had a mom.
Yes.
Like, something was weird when the mom was pregnant, but we don't really understand all of it. Like it's so
The script does a good job though. Like at the beginning, everyone that like comes in contact with her is referring to her like an alien or like weird.
yeah.
So you kind of assume maybe she is just an alien.
Yes, totally.
But then yeah, I just like was like, wait, where are her parents?
Yeah. You know what's funny? I watched the movie E.T. for the first time like a few days ago.
Wild.
I don't even know. I'm just like not a big movie watcher. Like
That's fair.
there's so many movies that I just haven't watched.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, but what was really funny about it is that there's the scene in E.T. where he's like exploring the house. And I was like, oh, that's what this is. Like,
Yeah.
that's what this is a reference to. And I've never known it. But that's so obvious that that's
Right.
what it is.
Yeah.
And so it's funny. It's really cute in Stranger Things, they put 11 in that situation. She's the alien
Yes.
who's like exploring Earth for the first
Yes.
time.
Waffles for the first time,
yeah.
friendship for the first time, trust for the first time.
Yeah.
And so
Anyway, it was cute for me to like uncover that and be like, oh, that's such an obvious reference, but I didn't know it.
it's not in your lexicon. You're like, I don't know.
So that was really cute.
Wow.
But it's super humanizing
Yes.
for 11 for us to uncover this part of her like backstory.
Yeah. And then you start to question, does she know about her mom?
Yeah.
Like, probably not.
Yeah.
Or maybe, like, again, maybe, who knows? Again, there's something about them mentioning you're 5 years too late. I'm like, what happened 5 years ago?
Yeah. That
We
is
need to
interesting,
know-
isn't it?
Like, what event caused her to either stop talking? Because it sounds like she's like, you want to talk to my sister, you're 5 years too late, meaning 5 years ago she would have told you.
Yeah, it is interesting that they say that number specifically.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested in how all that is going to unfold because I honestly don't remember exactly.
Great.
Yeah.
Wow. I feel like we end every episode with wow.
Wow. in unison.
But it is a wow.
It is a wow. Oh, I just wanted to also bring up, we have had a few pieces of feedback from a few listeners about our first couple of episodes being kind of quiet.
Yes.
The volume being kind of quiet.
Yes.
And just wanted to say thank you for the feedback.
Love it.
We hear you. And we also
If you can't hear
we've
us.
received that and we have made some changes that we hope are rectifying that information or that rectifying that situation.
Yes.
So thanks for listening. Thanks for the feedback. We appreciate you. And in a couple of weeks, we're going to watch the finale
Together.
of season 1 together. We're going to watch it. We're going to react right after we watch it, record the episode. I am going to put, at some point, I'm going to put on Instagram, like a little question box.
Love
so
it.
if you want to submit questions for us, things that are Stranger Things related or just anything that would be fun to talk about, totally down. We'll put that out and we'll do a little Q&A if there is anything in the finale episode.
Cute. I'm so
Oh my
excited.
gosh, so cute.
Yeah, and if you want to follow our Instagram, Stranger Things Has Happened Pod. We also
correct.
have an email, strangerthingshashappenedpod@gmail.com.
That's right.
Send questions, send thoughts,
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
or just enjoy every episode. I know I do.
that works great.
Period.
Yeah, if you're listening, thank you. Thank you
Yes.
for listening. And once again, thank you to Dustin Wilde for our incredible theme music.
Hit it out,
It's
Dustin.
so good. Thanks for listening. See you next time.